Hi, and welcome again to this latest episode of La Plata Ward 4 Update Podcast and Video. This is David Jenkins, La Plata Town Council member from Ward 4 and the host for this podcast and my videos, also available now on YouTube and YouTube Music. I wanted to do a brief podcast video tonight about two issues or two updates. First, I want to briefly talk about the La Plata town election, and then I want to talk about our search for a new town manager. So let's start right away with the election. So what you see up on the screen here is the candidates that have filed for the La Plata Town Council election. Now the filing date ended Monday, May the 3rd at 4 p.m. They had to verify all the data and the forms and the signatures. So it was released, you will see here, on March the 4th on the town website. I think I put it also on my Facebook page. So these are the candidates that have filed for the offices for the town of La Plata. Please note that the election will be May the 6th, and you can vote at the town hall between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. on that date. And you got to be a registered voter, and you have to live in the town of La Plata. So very briefly, you can see here the folks that have filed for mayor is the incumbent, Janine James. So she's running again for a third four-year term. Please note our terms are 4 years. Her opponent would be Ralph Winkler. I've known him for a while, and he was previously a town council member at least once or twice. From Ward 1 is a gentleman Paul Gutenberg. I do not know him, and he'll be running against the incumbent, which in this case is David Winkler. As you may recall, David Winkler is fulfilling the term for our recently departed town councilman Jim Goldsmith, who passed away a little over 2 years ago. So David Winkler is completing that term, but he's filed then for a full 4-year term. Ward 3, this is interesting because you see here on the notes, because there are three candidates, then there's a primary. So the primary will be held on Monday, March the 17th, 2025. And you can again vote at the town hall between 12 noon and 8 p.m. The three candidates are William B. Finnegan. I'm not sure if it's the same gentleman that I knew and may have been on the council several years ago. The other gentleman is Richard Gelpin. Actually, I happen to know him when I was employed by the town. He was on the town planning commission and another board for a while, and he lives in Kings Grant. And the other candidate is Patrick McCormick. I've had a chance to talk with him. He reached out and we've exchanged he had some questions, so I've offered answers to those questions about the town and the processes. He lives in Pine Grove. Ward 3 is a young woman named Torina Oli. I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name. I do not know her. I did find her LinkedIn profile online. The other person running is Gregory Sampson, and I know him but not well. He is currently on the town planning commission. And then finally, Ward 4, which is my ward, is a gentleman called Tyrone Johnson. He's running unopposed, so therefore he will be your new council member from Ward 4, which is my seat, which I'm vacating. As you may recall, I have not filed to run again. I let the town council know back in October, and I've had a couple of podcasts that I'm not running. And the reason is because of family issues and commitments. Specifically, we're going to be following our family and our grandkids when they move up to Pennsylvania. That'll probably be within the next year or year and a half. So that's why I'm not running again. I didn't think it would be appropriate if for some reason I were to file, and if I was to be fortunate to be reelected. I just really didn't, be in a position, and I don't think it would be fair to the residents and the voters that I'd have to resign after about a year and a half in office to move out of the area. So that's why I'm not running again. So I just wanted to kind of briefly tell you about that, and I hope, my ask is that you vote on the primary March the 17th, and then you vote in the general election, which is May the 6th. The other thing I wanted to briefly touch on, we've gone through a pretty extensive process to pick or select our next town manager. By way of background, our town manager resigned. He was not fired. He was not pressured to resign. He resigned to take another job, and he resigned back in August. So we retained a pretty reputable search firm. They came back recently, and we had 53 applicants apply for the position. 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, the council, we met in a closed session to review the top 10. We spent most of the afternoon reviewing those resumes, and then we narrowed those down to the top 10. As I said, from 53 to 10. I know I did. I reviewed and read all 53 resumes and the other questions they answered in a phone interview. They all had to go through a phone interview first. So I read all those notes. I read all the resumes. So I was just trying to make sure I do a thorough job. So the top 10 were actually the best 10, I believe. So then at this meeting several weeks ago, we did narrow it down to the top 5 that we wanted to then do virtual interviews via using the Zoom technology. So that was scheduled for tonight, and tonight being March the 5th. In fact, I just finished the last interview this evening, and so we interviewed. Actually, we were going to interview 5. One individual withdrew within the last several days, and another one took another position. So we ended up interviewing 3 individuals, and from my perspective and my view, they were all very, very excellent professional candidates. I was very encouraged and frankly enthused by those gentlemen that we talked to this evening via a Zoom video call. So we're going to sleep on the next step, not too long. I think several council members wanted to reflect before we make a decision on who we want to bring back for in-person interviews. We could bring back all 3 of them. We could bring back 2. I don't think we want to bring back 1. I do think the council's consensus would be we bring it back at least 2. So we're going to sleep on it tonight and review our notes, and then we're going to get together shortly and schedule at least 2 of the, or maybe all 3 candidates to come back, so we spend a day with them here in La Plata for in-person interviews, and that will consist of them giving a tour of the town by the leadership team. They will then have round robin interactions with senior staff, and then we'll get to meet them individually, in-person interviews on that day. So it'll be a busy day, but it'll be a productive day. And again, I feel very, very enthused and very impressed, not only by the 10 that we looked at on paper, but also the 3 that we interviewed tonight. I was very, very impressed. And so I'm very hopeful that the town will be in good hands once we make the hire. So I just wanted to come back very briefly and give you a quick update to the election and urge you to vote, and then just briefly talk about the town manager hiring process. We're very close of getting a very capable candidate. So with that, again, I appreciate you listening and watching these videos. As I said a couple of weeks ago, I will be changing the name and the content of my podcast and my videos. It'll be the similar topics, but since I won't be an elected official, I'm going to change the title and maybe alter a little bit the content. But it's still going to be about what I believe are issues important for our community. That is planning and development, economic development, financial sustainability, and those related issues that I believe are important not only for La Plata, but the county as well as Southern Maryland. So again, thanks again for watching and listening. And again, in my time left, if you have any questions or comment, please feel free to email me at djenkins@townlaplata.org. I will be coming back quickly or shortly with updated information about our budget process, which we're going to start next week. The council will be getting their first view of the draft budgets, but please know the department heads have been working on it, and then our new finance committee has also been reviewing it, so we'll be able to get their input as well. So again, thanks a lot. Stay safe. Hopefully spring is close by. Thanks a lot. Good night.